I like that. I love that. Oh,
Straight to the point, man.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Well, just like the show, it's straight to the point. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the NFL Off the Rails show on Let's Talk Sports. I'm joined today by Scott Colby, as always, and Johnny Cruz making his return back to the show. Everybody give it up for Johnny Cruz. Johnny,
What's up?
We've missed you, man. We've missed you and your move. We've talked a lot of Dolphins talk, but it's mainly had to do with Dalvin Cook. So you really haven't missed much, if I'm going to be honest with you.
It's all good. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy to be back. Was actually here last week when you couldn't make it, and your dad was in the comments. So shout out to Papa Larison joining us in the comments last Sunday. Now, but I'm happy to be back. Glad that the move is finally over. Now it's just a matter of setting everything up. And like we talked about before the show, when you're a husband and a father, you got to make sure wifey and the kids are good, and then I can set myself up. But I've already found my spot, so now it's just a matter of hanging everything up, and I've got plenty to put up there, so I can't wait for it, man. But it's fun to be back off the rails, man.
Hey, Ryan, how did Alan know he was going to get the number one pick in the draft?
Randomizer's a bitch, man. Randomizer's a bitch. It's
ain't it? Number 13. I got number 13, man. I love the number.
This is what he said to me. He says to me on Twitter. He DM'd me and said, "I got the number one pick. I've been practicing with mock drafts." I said, "Yeah, 12 teams, not 14 teams. Good luck with that."
Right.
Listen, man.
Like,
I got the 8th spot, and I'm not happy about it because I hate the middle of the draft. Okay, and there's right now 14 teams, which it's expanded from last year. So we're really going to know who's good at fantasy football because once you get past 12, we are going to know. So Nick will be exposed. That's the good part about this whole situation. But
I've been practicing, man. I've been practicing, trying to learn from you guys. So I've been doing pretty good with the last couple of mock drafts that we've been doing. Shout out to Tanner Dawson and his fantasy after dark shows at 11 p.m. Been having fun with those and stuff. So I got to get as much practice in as possible if I'm going to have any kind of a chance to not be in last place like last season.
Yeah, and he's killing it. He's absolutely killing it with those. That's something I wish I could do. Just every night after I put children to bed, just go on and draft for hours. Because let's see, I think I'm up to like 42 best ball leagues now that I've done. And I got like 5 more that are just actively drafting. So if I could hit some that are fast and actually have time to sit down and do some fast drafts, man, I'd love it. But those are all slow drafts. So
Johnny told me on DM that he got Trey Lance in 41 of those. So
yeah,
I actually have 0. I have more Trey Sermon shares than I have Trey Lance shares.
That's a good thing this year. That's a good thing.
It is.
I was about to say that, but yeah, that may be a good thing. I was high on the kid coming out last season, but I think this year he'll play more of a role on the team. But we talked about it on the show earlier this morning. Definitely check out the LTS Sunday morning show about the running backs, the young running backs coming into the league this season. There's going to be a lot of good play from those young running backs, so you can catch a lot of them later on in your drafts in the later rounds, but you can snag up a bunch of those rookie running backs that are going to eventually get some time with their teams.
Yeah, and I've got at least one share of every running back on Philadelphia at this point in at least some league on Underdog, because when you got a room like that that's going to rotate so much, I'm going to hit one of them. I don't know which one it's going to be, but I'm going to hit on one of them. Damn it,
Ryan, you're an Eagles fan. Do you seriously think that Kenneth Gainwell is going to have a bigger role than people think?
No, and let me address that because, Jesus, I've seen so much Twitter stuff going around about how now they hate Rashad Penny and DeAndre Swift's not the starter. It's all – guys, if you noticed what happened last night, all the starters sat and all the guys that weren't starters last year that know the offense sat. Okay? Olamide Zaccheaus sat last night. All right? It does not matter. Rashad Penny hasn't played since what? I think it was week 5 he got hurt last year, correct?
I believe so, something like that.
4 week 5, something early.
Yeah.
Dude needs game time reps, okay? In a brand new offense, first time he's ever switched his team. And then after that, Swift, he only touched the ball twice. And then they took him out. He got his couple of reps in. He looked great off that second run, and Sirianni said, "All right, we know what you are. Come on out. You're good."
Yeah.
It's Boston Scott got the night off last night.
Preseason, people. I'm saying it's preseason. It's the first week of preseason games. Like, calm down, man. I mean, it's insane how quickly people go nuts. You say I had to walk people off the ledge. It's like, bro, like 36 guys didn't play yesterday in the Dolphin game. You know what? All 36 of those are our best players. So it was the back end of the roster that was trying to, you know what I'm saying? You're looking at the young kids to see what's coming up. And there was actually some good moments from some of the young kids that you expect to help out this year. But who cares about the score, man? I mean, these games don't matter. There's been plenty of preseasons where we've been undefeated in the preseason and then we suck throughout the season. So don't stress the preseason, man. Just take it for what it is, which is a glorified practice. That's all it is.
Yeah, and last thing I'll say, here's the other thing, okay? San Francisco's playing right now, okay? Everybody's saying Trey Lance looks great in practice and, Brock Purdy is third. Do you guys realize that Brock Purdy is being slowly brought along in training camp for the season? Everybody's like, oh, Brock Purdy looks like the third best quarterback. Yeah, because he's being slowly brought along. They're not throwing a lot with him. They're not doing any of that stuff. Plus, guys look great in shorts and T-shirts, too. That's the other thing.
Right.
I mean,
Homeboy's coming off of an elbow injury. I mean, God.
Brock Purdy's going to be the starting quarterback for the 49ers this season, okay?
Exactly.
Everybody who's a 49ers fan that thinks, oh, Trey Lance looks great. Oh, Sam Darnold looks great. It's Brock Purdy, okay? That's Shanahan's guy. That's who he's going with. So
yeah. After last year, first year working for Rotoballer, and I've basically followed every major beat reporter on all 32 teams at this point, you learn the tendencies of what to care about and what not to care about in terms of reporting. And the way that I always see it, and you guys can take it this way as well, you see positive stuff, most of the time you can ignore it because they're just puffing up their players. Unless it's someone like that's the Trey Sermon one is what's interesting. We'll use that as an example. They've got no reason to write good things about Trey Sermon because he's the fourth, maybe fifth running back on the roster. But he got a whole week's worth of good press because he was getting first-team reps. You pay attention to that one because the dude is buried on the depth chart, and now he might actually make the roster. What you do watch is negative stuff because they don't got to say anything negative about the players of the team that they're covering. But if they do, then they're actually telling the truth. That's what I have learned over the past year and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus. And then you got to take some of that stuff with a grain of salt, too. Look at the Jamar Chase thing a couple of years ago. The drops in practice, and he can't do it. Now he's the second best receiver in the NFL, arguably. Like, you just got to take everything with a grain of salt.
Now, yeah, and you get to know which beat reporters are into the clicks and which ones are more focused on actually covering the team. So you can differentiate that as well if you're really paying attention. But like Ryan said, take most of this, especially during the preseason. Take most of this stuff with a grain of salt, man. I mean, you don't really know what's going on, and until we get to week one, none of this even matters anyway. So stop.
I mean, we talked about it this morning, and Johnny said he's going to address it on his Let's Talk Dolphins. The vitriol I've seen about the Patriots on Patriots Twitter this past 2 days, people, just stop. Just stop. It's the first preseason game. Mac Jones didn't play. Juju didn't play. A bunch of guys didn't play. Okay? So stop. Just relax. Just like Kenneth Gainwell. All the problems he's been getting. Just stop. Okay? Relax.
Give it time. Give it time. And Sean, yes, that is the same exact Trey Sermon. You got the meme where he's in that Ohio State game and he's just staring around. Then he finds the camera and looks up all sly. That's that Trey Sermon right there.
Yeah.
Gangle O'Connell looks like the Walmart version of
that's all kinds of wrong right there.
Oh man, I can't comment on that.
That was funny though.
Let's get into the first topic, gentlemen.
Okay.
We've just been talking preseason. We talked a little bit already, so I want to know one person that impressed you so far. This past week, and then who just flat out disappointed you after you saw their performance. I'll go first, so you guys got time to think. And I'll cover Jordan Love because I know nobody else here will do that. I think he looked good. I think he was impressive. I think that first drive almost got killed because of some negative plays that happened that weren't his fault. And then that second drive, he goes in, completion, moving the ball down the field pretty consistently. And then he throws a beautiful 9-yard dot across the middle into coverage, places the ball perfectly to Romeo Doubs, gets the touchdown. They pull him. I think he did very well. He could have gone out there and had the worst performance that he could have possibly imagined, and then the entire Twitter sphere would have went absolutely ballistic on the guy. But he does well, and nobody talks about him. So I want to shine him up a little bit. I think he looked good. I think he had a good week this week, and I'm excited to see what he can do once he's playing more starting defenses in the next week or so.
I wish Nick was here to listen to you because this morning when we talked about it with him, he was like, I don't watch preseason games. I don't care.
I was gonna say, Nick's mentality about preseason, but that's who I actually had on mind as well. Ryan is Jordan Love. I'm gonna be paying attention to him a lot. I actually like the kid. I liked him coming out. Did I expect him to immediately hit the ground running and be one of the best quarterbacks? No, but he actually, the best thing that could have possibly happened to him, besides the drama of having to sit behind Rodgers and all that stuff, but to be able to sit behind a future Hall of Famer and actually learn the position, learn how to prepare properly, learn how to watch film, learn how to get yourself ready with your teammates. I think that's all going to help the kid, and I think he's going to surprise some people. So I'm with you on that one. That's actually who I had written down was Jordan Love, because I'm not even going to front like I watched a lot of this preseason this weekend because, again, it's practice, but I do try to pay attention to it. But I did watch the Packers only because I did want to watch Jordan Love, and I thought he played well as well. Also, I'm with you on that.
Scott, how do you think he did, or do you just not care about him?
No, I think actually, I don't care. It's preseason. No, I thought he did. I thought he did well, considering how everybody's thinking. Oh, Jordan Love. The last time we saw him play in an NFL game, he didn't play that well. I thought he played fine. He let him down on the opening drive. Doubs caught a 12-yard touchdown pass from him. I think they have a nice connection, Doubs and him. And I think that's going to be important to Jordan Love to find a guy he can rely on, he can go to in situations when he needs to. So I think he did just fine. I think that both quarterbacks for the Packers did just fine, in my opinion.
Yeah. The other thing that I noticed in that game, too, is you look at the target shares and how he spread everything around. He literally evenly spread it. It was Christian Watson, Dobbs, and Musgrave were leading the way. And then the ancillary targets behind that were dump offs to Aaron Jones. And, then he's finding other random players. Like, he's getting the ball to the top 3 receivers that he's got that aren't, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is going to get more than enough targets, but he's pushing the ball downfield. He's not trying to be a game manager. He's trying to push the ball downfield. Super important. I think, 4 years. This is his 4th year, 3 years sitting behind one of the best quarterbacks that's ever played the game.
Yeah,
right. I'm excited. I think he's going to have a good season, but I know how Mr. Tanner feels about it. So I wanted to mention that before we got him, if he does pop in here, so it wasn't Jordan Love sucks. So wanted to get that. I wanted to get that in before that happened.
Tanner's in mourning right now because his Chiefs lost, so that's why he's not here.
Well, he made sure to let us know not to bet on them. So
yeah, yep.
I'm glad he did do that.
That's fair.
The guy that I was impressed with this weekend, Ty Chandler of Minnesota. I think, I think the number 2 job in Minnesota is open for McBride or Chandler, and I think Chandler put his claim in that he can be the backup running back and be effective in both the passing game and the running game. So I like the touches he got. I like what he did with the touches. I think he's going to get the number 2 job behind Madison, and I think he's going to be good. He's going to be good. So
do you think he did enough to hold off the Kareem Hunt potential signing in Minnesota?
Not yet. I think if he goes out, I think if he goes out in this game and has another duplicate line or pretty similar to it, then I would lean toward yes, he has done enough. But it's only one preseason game. I think he's got to prove it again in the coach's eyes, and I don't think you'll see Alexander Madison much in this preseason, if at all. So
Yeah, they don't want to risk him at all. I mean, somebody I enjoyed. I mean, Justin Fields only threw a couple passes, but he did exactly what we said he would do. He hit his new number one, DJ Moore. Roshan Johnson, I am a huge fan of, and I was hoping that he would actually drop to Miami. Not that I'm upset with A-Chain because I love A-Chain.
I love Nick.
That's fine. Y'all can both come to South. Y'all can both come to South Beach. I know you loved it while you were here in Florida, Nick. So you guys can both come to South Beach. But Roshan Johnson, 12 carries, 44 yards for the Bears. I think he's going to get some play. I think by the time you get to mid-season, if not, he's definitely going to be splitting carries, in my opinion. He's a big kid, 225, 230, got good speed, good hands. I was impressed with that young man. Of course, like I said, Justin Fields only threw a couple passes, but if he – and again, I don't expect him to go from the way he was last year to all of a sudden be the most accurate passer in the world, but I don't think they're going to have him attempting that many – crazy deep passes. I think it's going to be more middle of the field to intermediate pipe passes, a lot of check downs, but there's a lot of speed on that team right now. So I'm interested to see what Chicago can do. And if Justin takes that next step, I think they take the division. I know everybody's on Detroit, and I picked them too because, I mean, who else are you going to pick in that division? But I think the Bears could shock some people. And I really like this Roshan Johnson kid. I like him a lot, man. He's gonna be a good player.
We'll get him in your fantasy drafts.
Do you think Chicago
don't get him?
Go get him.
Okay. Oh yeah. We talked about it earlier. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you're gonna be able to get some good young running backs late in the draft.
Do you think Chicago gave away what they want to do this year? Throw a lot of screen passes, a lot of short passes, and have their playmakers do the rest of the work?
I think they mainly what they're trying to do is make sure that Fields gets into a rhythm. So do your easy stuff, do your short completions, get that stuff out of the way because they didn't trade for DJ Moore just to throw him bubble screens all day, Exactly. You gotta take your deep shots. Did Mooney play yesterday? I didn't even
see him on the field. I watched the game. I didn't see him play. If he played
another deep threat. He's another deep threat that they're going to utilize, good outside the numbers. Like that stuff's going to come, but I think it's pretty obvious that, opposing teams know they're going to do short yard passes. They're going to try and run the ball as best they can. Easy completions. Like you got to play to his strengths and give him some momentum heading into the season instead of just letting him launch, 5-10 passes in his first preseason game, complete 2 of them and maybe throw some picks. Like,
yeah,
we've seen that doesn't help guys in terms of the confidence department. So,
yeah. Well, I think for the most part, most teams know that that's what Chicago wants to do. At least until Justin shows that he can be more efficient with the deeper passes. But I think it's a matter of this is what we're gonna do, try and stop us. To be quite honest, so I'm looking. Like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing what Chicago can do. I'm impressed with my uncle. He drank a whole fifth of Jameson, was still standing. That is impressive, Nick. You ain't lying. Can you imagine hanging out with a bunch of Botkins? Boy, you better be ready to drink. You better be ready to drink.
What if he's the tamest of all the Botkins? Wouldn't that be friggin' insane?
You know what? It's very possible. It's very possible that he's the tamest one of them all.
Apparently, he's adoptive family in my regard now, so I got to be careful with that.
Yeah. I actually think Chicago has a decent shot to compete in that division, if not win it. I actually do. I don't know why I'm saying that, but
we've all gone on record and kind of given our predictions for that division. To me, it's Green Bay. I've seen their schedule; it's a cakewalk, and I think they got the most complete team. So
yeah, I got them second. I got them second with 9 wins in the division, but they could easily, like I said, I expect Jordan Love, like you talked about. I expect Jordan Love to play a lot better than most people are thinking. Obviously, more than Nick is thinking about his own team at quarterback. I think it was the right situation. We're gonna find out if LaFleur is a good coach or not. You still got the 2 studs in the backfield, a lot of young speed, a lot of young receivers out there. So as long as he doesn't throw a bunch of picks, I think Green Bay has a chance to win a lot of games. And like you mentioned, Ryan, that schedule is cake. So,
oh my God, it's so easy. Like, I had such a hard time picking their losses because there was so few outright. Yeah, this team is definitely better than the Packers.
Right.
And some of those games don't even go that way. There's a ton of teams that lose games to teams that they shouldn't lose them to. So, disappointment, man, dude. I can't get over how bad Anthony Richardson looked. I knew this was going to be a problem. Like, he had some amazing throws. The dude throws the ball harder than most NFL quarterbacks, and it doesn't matter how far down the field you are. You can be 2 yards in front of him. He's going to whip that sumbitch at you and strike you in the chest and probably take the wind out of you. But, man, dude, it's going to be a rough season. I think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback, but these people that think that he's going to have a very good rookie year, I think you're nuts. He is going to struggle, and it's going to be a big struggle. And Buffalo didn't play many starters last night.
Yeah, no,
actually, very few, if any, starters played yesterday. Unless I don't know if we're going to talk about Hamlin here in a minute, but I don't know if Hamlin is technically a starter at this point. But that would be the only one that I would consider close to a starter. So it's going to be interesting.
I'd even go so far as to say all the rookie quarterbacks did not look good this week.
Oh, they all look like garbage.
Yeah, they all look like garbage. I mean, CJ Stroud.
They all look like rookies. They all look like rookies.
You could kind of see with playing Belichick, but Bryce Young was 4 for 6 for 30 yards, 50 yards, whatever it was. Will Levis didn't look that much better either. So, we said this morning on the Let's Talk Sports show that Davis Mills could start the season and they could work CJ Stroud in. I mean, D'Amico Ryan, I would not put it past him. I'm not sure about it, Johnny.
I mean, what are their expectations? Are they expecting to actually compete for the division or to make a wild card? If that's the case, then you start Davis Mills, who has more experience, and then you see what happens. But I think they just give the keys to CJ and say we ride or die with him.
That's where
see what happens. Let him get his lumps.
That's where I'm at. Like, why do Davis Mills? He's not your future. You've had that experiment 2 years.
Right.
Let CJ get those reps. He's going to need them. He's going to struggle. Yes. All rookies struggle.
Right.
But, don't, for the love of God, Houston, don't be stupid. Jesus. Right. I mean, I'm saying this to Houston for God's sake, so we know how that goes. Right. But it's all Anthony Richardson disappointed me. All the rookie quarterbacks look like
all
shit.
The rookies, which they should. They're rookies. That's why the one that kind of disappointed me a little bit, and again, it's the first preseason game, so I'm not trying to take it too much, but Russell Wilson didn't look as great as you would think. I mean, he was 7 of 13, 93 yards and a touchdown, but you were expecting a complete 180 from how shitty he looked last year. You thought, with Sean Payton. And again, it's the first preseason game, so I'm not trying to go overboard with it, but I was not overly impressed with Russell Wilson. I don't know if he completely disappointed me, but I was not impressed with what I saw from him or from Denver in that first preseason game. So we'll see what happens going forward.
The only thing I want to add to that is I agree. He struggled for sure, but the dude literally had a guy in his face at about half second. Snap. And I feel like it was every single play. Yeah. So, dude, they got to figure out that offensive line. If you want to run Sean Payton's offense, which we saw glimpses of how it's going to work, like he had some great passes to Judy. He was the run game needs to work first off, and that offensive line couldn't get that shit going whatsoever. So that needs to happen first. But once that starts happening, and hopefully they can get a little more time under Russell Wilson, I'm cautiously optimistic that Wilson will be better, but that was not the start that I wanted to see this preseason. I'll tell you that.
And that could be why I'm a little disappointed, because I'm expecting a lot from Russell this year. I'm expecting him to be obviously a lot better than last season. They paid a lot of money to get some guys in on their offensive line, so I know most of them probably didn't play yesterday. But again, we'll see what happens as we go into the season stuff. But as far as to answer the question now, I would go with Russell because I'm expecting a lot. I'm expecting for them to be the number 2 team in that division. But we'll see what happens there. But as far as right now, I'll go
If
rush.
that happens with Denver, Samaje Perine is going to have 130 catches this year because he's just going to go out of the backfield, and Wilson's going to be tossing it to him left and right out of the backfield. I mean,
add on another 60 for Javonte too, because
60 for Javonte.
The report today.
I just hope they don't rush him, man. Oh, man, I hope they don't rush that kid, man. He is so much fun to watch. I hope they don't rush him. I hope he's actually 100% and ready to go, and they're not rushing him because he's fun to watch, man. That's Sean Payton's offense. You know what I'm saying? Even though Alvin Kamara is a phenomenal player, but they love to hit the back coming out of the backfield. Definitely look for the Denver backfield for your fantasy leagues, people, because they're going to get a lot of catches too.
Well, here's the thing. We've watched enough football to know guys coming off ACLs the first year are not the same guys as they are the second year. Right. So Javonte Williams might be ready. He might play. He might start. Don't expect him to be explosive. Don't expect him to be any of that because it takes them a full year plus to come back to where they were. So Javante's going in the 5th and 6th round. I've seen a lot of drafts. And rightfully so, I think. I'm not touching him this year. I'm laying off of him.
This is the rare time that Scott and I disagree because I'm all over Javonte.
I
was about to say, if he's there in the 5th round, I'm snagging him.
Yeah, baby.
I'm definitely snagging him for real.
I've been getting him, and see, if this is what is, everybody says don't draft before, July. I've been drafting since March, dude. I've gotten Javonte Williams. I've got so much Javonte Williams in like the 9th, 10th round. Those teams are stacked.
This is when you get the best values in May, June, and July. Guys, before training camp opens up. So he made
Sean, have a good one, bro.
Thanks for joining us, brother. Appreciate all the comments that you got going in here.
Absolutely, man. Enjoy the fam.
Did we didn't get to Scott. Scott, who disappointed you? Or did you want to group all the rookie quarterbacks?
The rookie quarterback. I said the rookie quarterbacks. Yeah. I just was not impressed. And Anthony Richardson is the top of that list for sure. But C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis, any of those rookie quarterbacks that played this weekend?
Actually, I thought Levis did okay compared to some of the other guys. It was
probably compared to the other ones.
And Malik Willis looks awful, so I think Levis is going to get that backup position.
This is the time of the preseason where you let Malik Willis throw almost 30 freaking passes. Jesus, that's almost unwatchable football, man. My God.
He might have a total of 65 yards and 30 passes.
They're trying to showcase him because they want a team to trade for like a 7th round pick for the kid. And it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. All right, Dan gave me all the rest of these topics. I wanted to do that one because I was thinking about that all day today. He wants a reason why preseason games matter and one why they don't. Easiest for me is, dude, these young guys need reps. They need them badly. Yeah. Even your veterans, they need at least a series. You got to get that game feel before you get into that first game because, dude, I remember playing back in high school. We didn't do preseason games. That first game always friggin' sucked for about the first 2 quarters because you're not into it yet. You're not used to the game feel. And then you start to get it rolling after that, first half of football. So that's why I think it's super important. I honestly don't even think it needs to be televised, to be honest with you. I know they're doing it because they want to make money and all that stuff, but we as fans don't need to see this stuff. They need it because they need the game feel. Right. Us as fans, it doesn't matter for us.
You want to go ahead?
One of the reasons they matter is because, like we talked about, the Minnesota situation, you got to find out who your backup running back is. You got to find out who your number 3 wide receiver is going to be. Some of these teams, you need to find out who's going to be a starter at these positions, tight end, on the line, defense. So that's why they matter. The reason they don't is because you get, the veterans, you get an injury that's just crippling for a team. I would rather see Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow and all those players not even play in the preseason and just run out the rest of the guys and just say, you're fighting for a job, go ahead. So, and what you said too. That's the other thing.
I think you hit it right there, Scott. Which is why my one reason to preseason is battles, is position battles. There's competition. There's you could have. We have a situation in Miami where Liam Eichenberg at left guard. We signed Isaiah Wynn. Isaiah Wynn is trying to take that left guard spot. So this is where the preseason games give you an opportunity not only to see the younger players.
Oh, God.
Of course, anything
right
to bother Nick, but you get an opportunity to see the young players to find out, maybe who can do multiple things, who can play positions and be part of your special teams, and then, like I said, if there's specific position battles, these preseason games give you an opportunity to see those players going up against other teams to see, to help coaches make their decision as far as who's going to win the battle there. Like I said, I gave the example of the left guard position in Miami. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Why I don't like it, I'm with you. It's completely, Scott, is just freaking injuries, man. There's like, the more preseason and stuff like that there is, the more the chances are that the guys get hurt. And that's something you don't want to see. I want to see the best players, play regardless of what team it is. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. And plus, again, it's a glorified practice. Like Ryan says, if it wasn't for the fact that they want to make money off of it, we don't even need to be watching this. For real. I take more into the joint practices. We talked about this morning. The joint practices than the actual exhibition game. Because those joint practices get intense. So that is, that is more interesting to me. But again, so the one reason that I don't is the chance for injury is always there, and I hate that, man.
My thoughts on this too. I still think there's too many of these preseason games. I say you cut it to two personally.
Two. Yeah.
They're gonna wait till they go to 18 games, and then they'll cut it to 2, because they're gonna make them play 18 games, bro. That
NFL.
It's all about the money, bro.
I know.
Always heard. The answer to the question is always money, regardless of.
And that's like what I said earlier is prevalent. Like, as fans, we don't need to watch this. It doesn't matter to us. This has nothing to do with us.
I mean, we are crackheads though, so we do want to watch it, but
we do want to watch it. But it doesn't matter to us.
Right.
This is all for the NFL teams, and to me, they don't need the 3 games. They can have their answers in 2. You get your starters out there for 1 series. Doesn't matter which game you decide to make that happen. Let them get the game feel in them a little bit. Maybe 2 series if you get a 3 and out real quick. And then you let the rest be for backup battles and camp battles and stuff. Like it's the 3rd game is just damn near pointless at this point. Like
it certainly is.
This past weekend there was, I think, 3 or 4 teams that played starters, and that was really it.
Right.
The rest were all backups and deep practice squad backups. So
well, I mean, like you mentioned, when it was 4 preseason games, nobody played in the 4th one. Now that there's 3, nobody's going to play in the 3rd one.
But you make it 2. They're going to figure that shit out,
right? They're gonna know. Okay, we got one of these. But again, everybody's going to these joint practices, and like Mike McDaniel, head coach, obviously the Dolphins, mentioned in his press conference that the 2 joint practices is going to determine who plays and who doesn't. Because he figures if I see everything I need to see in the joint practice, I don't need them to play in the game. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, a lot of teams and coaches are taking a lot more value in the joint practices than they are in these exhibition games. So, yeah, I would love if it went down to just 2, man. Anything that could get us closer to the regular season, man, I'm about it, bro, for real.
I mean, play the Hall of Fame game. Play the Hall of Fame game. That's perfectly fine. I get that. It's a complete event the whole weekend. But after that, you could play the game Tuesday at 2:00, and you're going to get 1 million people to watch it, obviously. But
right.
That's what I'm saying is I agree with Ryan. This doesn't matter. I don't really watch to see. I watch to look at the backups. I don't when I watch games. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
See who's going to be at the bottom of the roster.
For depth charts.
I now have to watch as an obligation for work. So I used to skip most preseason. Oh, yeah. Now I have to.
Oh no, man! I would watch it, and again, just to see who's going to be the last few guys on the roster. See if there's any rookies or young kids. Like I'm interested to see what the rookies from last year. Now they're going into their 2nd year, but like Eric Ezukama, wide receiver, Channing Tindall, linebacker. Like I want to see have they developed any in the last year going into this preseason. So that's what I look at is the young kids and who's going to be at the bottom of the roster. It's not like, I'm not taking notes and like, oh my God, he missed this pass and he missed that.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah, nah, man. You can't, again, they're preseason games. So don't take them that seriously. So I can't wait to Tuesday to go on get on my little soapbox about this damn preseason shit.
Hey Johnny, Ryan's asleep by the third quarter of these preseason games. So,
oh dude, when they're the late night ones, and I get my 1-year-old to sleep, and he's on my chest, like it's out, it's done, it's
brutal.
Man, that's enough said. Once you said 1-year-old, you're lucky you get any sleep, bro.
We figured. Let's go back to the Colts. Dan wants to know, aside from the issues with owner Jim Irsay, is Jonathan Taylor being misadvised about this whole situation that's going on with his contract and stuff? To me, yes. So it's interesting as you say that, because I don't really think so. I think all these running backs are just trying to kind of band together and get paid what they feel like they need to be paid, and he's a byproduct of this whole situation. Yes, he knows that when he's on the field and healthy, he is a top 5 running back in this league. I don't think there's any real question about it when he's at full strength.
Yep.
And he wants to be paid like that. So I don't know if it's him being misadvised, but the problem is the timing is about as piss poor as you could ever have it. And it's not gonna bode well for him by the end of it. And that sucks, because Jim Irsay is willing to pay $20 million to get a freaking Dolphin saved, and he won't pay his star running back, who he says if died today wouldn't matter to the rest of the league.
Oh, please, come on. Here's what I think. In a way, the running back conference call was good. In a way, it was bad. Because what have you seen since it? You've seen Saquon give in and take a contract that he in honesty never wanted to take. I'll bet you. He just didn't want to take it. JT has been out since the conference call, basically. J.K. Dobbins, same situation. It's not an injury. It's contract issues. So a lot of these Austin Eckler is ticked off about his contract. So, and he's not going to get as much volume as he has in the past, because they want to go down the field, and Joshua Kelly all of a sudden has become the rage in Kellen Moore's mind. So to me, since this conference call has happened, a lot has happened in the running back room in terms of what's gone on. So I think they're misadvising each other. I don't think he's getting misadvised by his agent, or I think they are misadvised with each other in that running back conference call, and that bothers me a lot. These guys need to play. Look at guys that have held out: Le'Veon Bell, Carson Palmer, until he got traded by the Bengals to the Raiders. I mean, these guys were never ever the same again after they did what they did. So he needs to get in camp as soon as he's quote unquote healthy, and Dobbins the same way, and they need to play.
It's a good take. It's interesting. Yeah. Johnny, what you got?
I mean, I agree with Scott totally on that one. I mean, especially the shelf life for a running back is not very long anyway. I mean, I want to say 3.5 years is for all NFL players. So running backs can actually be less than that. So you don't want to give away a season. I feel for the running backs, because it's just shitty that they're not getting the love and appreciation that they should get. But like we just talked about a little bit ago, you can get some young running backs in the later rounds, and then everything's a rotation now. Unless you're a big horse like a Derrick Henry or somebody like that, that most offenses are going with multiple backs. So unfortunately, these guys aren't getting what they may deserve. And I think Saquon completely shot himself in the foot, no pun intended, to this kid from the Giants who shot himself in the club. Can't remember his name right now, but
Plaxico.
Yeah, Plaxico. Yeah, when he shot himself. Yeah, that's a good one there, Plax. But Saquon Barkley, he actually signed a 1-year contract just to get a little bit more in incentives, but now he left himself open to 2 more years of tags. So it was almost like, bro,
they won't tag him because it'll be too much in their eyes.
I know, but he could have just signed a franchise tag, which would have been just about the same amount, maybe a little bit less. The $900,000 he would have gotten with incentives, but it would have made sure that at worst they could only franchise tag him 1 more time. Now, if they wanted to, they can still franchise tag him 2 more times. So I think that was just a horrible decision on his part to sign the 1-year deal. I don't know if he's being misadvised, Johnson, but I don't lose money, bro. Go in there and do one of them hold-ins. Go in there and be like, yeah, my back, my hammy. But don't lose money. Go in there, get your money, and see what happens there. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, I mean, you don't want to say take the high road, but just, I mean, you are under contract. I understand you want more money, but just go in there, do what you got to do, and hopefully the right things will happen for you. It does not help that his owner came out and said all the crap that he said, but I don't know if he's being so much misadvised. But yeah, bro, you don't want to lose money, man. So get in there and hold in if you have to.
I'll tell you a guy that's going down the Le'Veon Bell trail, Josh Jacobs. I don't see any way he's coming in. He's gone home. I mean, his agent needs to tell him, hey, Josh, sign the franchise tag, get in camp, man. Have another great year, get your money, and then we'll get you a contract that's not what you want, but that's a little bit closer to what you want. If Josh Jacobs done the whole year, he's done. He's done.
What are these guys supposed to do then? Because they're 100% right. They got to get paid more. They need to get paid more. There's kickers in the NFL making more money than these guys on a yearly basis.
Yes.
Like,
I know.
Yeah.
No offense to kickers. Love you guys. You're not. Don't deserve more than these running backs, man. I don't care what anybody says.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
What are they supposed to do? They've got to do something. And that's why I can't sit here and crap on these guys and tell them that they're doing the wrong thing, because at the end of the day, they're just trying to fight for the money that they deserve. Maybe it's the working man mentality that I have because of like the situation that I've been in for most of my life, trying to make money. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know what they're supposed to do, but there's got to be a straw that breaks the camel's back at some point here, and I don't know what that's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it comes full circle for them too as well. I mean, I'm never gonna go against somebody wanting to get their money, and I feel for all of them. They definitely deserve more than more love and appreciation and more money than what they're getting. I mean, even what's just being talked about. I mean, they're basically getting shit on by most people that they don't matter, and it's just, I mean, I can understand why they're feeling some kind of way. But I mean, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face if you're missing time and losing money, So you're still doing the same thing. You're losing more money than you need to. The only thing is, I mean, they just signed a collective bargaining agreement a year or two ago. Yeah, so I mean, I know the franchise tag, but you still got another 8 years before that's even going to be an option. And are people really gonna, be willing to go on strike for situations like this? So I really don't know what the answer is, man. I hope something winds up happening to where they are able to get a little bit more money or get what they deserve. But I really don't see a light at the end of this running back tunnel, man, to be quite honest, bro.
The thing that will put me in full, mindset is what Austin Eckler's contract is going to be at the end of the year for next year. Whoever he goes to, if he stays with the Chargers, if he goes wherever, if that man does not get $13-14 million and he only gets $7 million,
that's the thing is I don't see him getting 13. You really think somebody gonna? That's what I'm saying. The average is going to be somewhere around that 6, 7, $8 million for the top tier guys, which is sad because, like Ryan said, I mean, you got some kickers that are making $3-4 million a year, which is insane, man. So
making huge money,
right? So I don't know, man. That's a good one there.
Let's get off the depressing subject and we'll do some more quick hit stuff here with some of these last topics. Damar Hamlin made his return this past week after his horrible incident that happened last year in the Cincinnati game. Recorded 3 solo tackles. I think he was like 4th on the team in total tackles, if I remember looking that up correctly. I mean, I mainly just put this here more for good feels. Like, this is fantastic. He looked great out there. He was running full speed. Everything looked up to snuff. Couldn't be happier that he's, made his return to the field. And that safety room is old in Buffalo. So he's going to get more field time than people are going to want to admit. That, as a football player, not a lot of people think that he's like upper echelon, but he's shown that when he's on the field, he's been really good. So just very happy that he was able to return to the field, make some tackles, and make some good plays.
Absolutely. It's great to see him on the field. And I think the Buffalo Bills will get an early season jolt with Damar Hamlin in the lineup, game in and game out.
100%. That Jet game is going to be An interesting
Monday night, Bills Jets, first week of the season. It's gonna be phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say besides the fact that it's just a great story? It's wonderful that the young man is healthy first and foremost, that he's okay. The fact that he's able to continue playing football is phenomenal for him. So I'm obviously rooting for him. I'm not so much rooting for his team to win, but I'm rooting for DeMar to have himself a nice season. Obviously stay healthy the rest of the season. So it's a wonderful feel good story. And I wish the kid nothing but the best, man. I hope he keeps it going.
Can we stop with the rumors that he's dead now? Like, can we stop with that stupid conspiracy theory all over Twitter that he's dead?
Oh,
and it's a doppelganger that's in there playing for him? Like, Jesus Christ, man.
Oh, my God.
Friggin' people drive me
nuts. Twitter's ridiculous.
Those people are worse than Skip Bayless. They really are. They're worse than what Skip Bayless said on the night that it actually happened.
That's saying a lot, bro. That's saying a lot.
It's saying
he's pretty bad. He's pretty bad.
All right. Johnny, we got some Dolphins stuff to talk about. Jalen Waddle has a midsection injury that he's been dealing with. From reports today from McDaniel, he said it sounds pretty minor. What do you make of it? Are you worried? I mean, it's one of your best players, so you got to be worried. So I'm not going to try and pound that home too much, but
yeah,
I don't like this type of stuff when it's injuries that aren't specific and it's just a body part in a general area of the body. That stuff bothers the hell out of me. So I'm wondering if you got more inside information than I do.
Yeah, from what I've heard and read, I believe it's probably either bruise or a broken rib. He took a pretty good shot in the joint practice, and that's where it seems to be going. Hopefully, it's more of a bruise and an actual broken rib. Wide receiver is where we are fairly deep. Knock on wood, I want to say, because we don't have much depth pretty much anywhere. But you talk about one of the best young wide receivers in all of football. But we do have Chosen Anderson there. Braxton Berrios has had a really strong camp. Like I said, that wide receiver is one of our deeper positions. So this is another one of those, do not rush this kid back, especially if it's broken. If he's got a broken rib, one bad hit and his season could be gone or several weeks. So I think they'll take it slowly with him. But I expect him to be there week one. They'll probably wrap him up real good and try to protect him as much as possible. But it hasn't officially been, said what's wrong with him. Like you mentioned, it just said midsection. But from what I've heard, it's either a bruise or a broken rib. So I'm hoping for a bruise.
Is Chosen the clear replacement for him if he misses any sort of time, do you think? Or is there another guy that might take his spot?
I'm going to go ahead and say yes to that. There was a lot of hype for Chosen during OTAs. And then in the first week or so of actual training camp, he wasn't getting as many reps. In my opinion, I think that's more because they know who Robbie Chosen is. I think they want to see more about what these young kids, what Eric Ezukama, what Braylon Sanders, what some of these other young kids can do, which is why he hasn't gotten as many reps. But yet in the joint practices, he had a good 2 days in the joint practices. So I want to say, yes, he would be the number 2 if Waddle does miss time. He more than likely is going to be the number 3. But I can see Braxton Berrios actually taking that spot. Some of the formations where you have Tyreek, Waddle, and Braxton on the field at the same time, it's scary to see how quick these guys are. But if I had to answer right now, if Jalen winds up missing a game or two, I would say, yeah, I would think Chosen is probably going to be the number 2. He'll slide into the number 2 spot.
I keep forgetting Robbie Anderson's changed his name again. So,
I mean, it is what it is.
Chosen Anderson.
As long as he makes, and he's exactly what we need when you have Tyreek and Waddle, who are smaller receivers. He's a tall receiver, so he can jump up for the 50 balls, which is why I'm excited about their that 3rd round pick from last season. Actually, 4th round pick Eric Ezukama is a bigger wide receiver, 210 pounds, a good blocker, so he's starting to come on. But we needed some size at wide receiver. We lost Gesicki. We traded Devontae Parker. So a lot of our wide receivers are a lot more on the smaller side. So Robbie could definitely help us out. Being 6'3", he still has all his speed. He hasn't lost a step at all. So he's fast with some size. So I think that's a perfect complement to Tyreek and Jalen.
I'm not saying that Robbie Chosen Anderson is going to take over and do what Waddle does. There's nobody in that roster that can do that. So I think McDaniel's doing the right thing by just pulling Waddle out, saying you're not practicing until you're 100% healthy. And if Waddle does have a broken rib, that'll linger into the start of the regular season. So that is going to be a problem. They're going to have to flak jacket him and shoot him up to get him out there on the field.
Right.
So I think McDaniel's doing the smartest thing he possibly can do with this and not playing.
That tells me that we're going to see more A-Chain catching the ball during the first few weeks.
Yes.
He has a broken rib. So, and that's good. That's good. Get the rookie some reps, and he's a great pass catcher. So.
Yeah. And he's lining up everywhere, people. Everywhere.
I'm excited.
Devon A-Chain.
I'm excited to see what he can do year one.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on him because he could be Miami starting running back by week 9. Depending
on what happens with the gentleman with the dreads that's from Miami, whose name will not be mentioned right now. Depending on what happens with him, which I think is going to happen in the next week or so. Just saying, because Jeff Wilson has already dealt with a couple little injuries, Raheem Mostert, a couple little. So I wouldn't be surprised if something happens in the next week or so. But I think A-Chain is definitely somebody who's, if you got an opportunity to draft him, and he falls into the later rounds, you definitely want to scoop him up and save him because he's going to get some touches. He's going to get some play.
He's going undrafted in some drafts too. That's the other thing. So
his ADP right now, I think, is sitting in round 9. I'm working on my backup running back article, and I have 5 backfields that are like in a separate section because they're just too clustered for me to label them starter, handcuff, all that crap. And Miami's one of them. It's the toughest backfield in the entire NFL for me to decipher for fantasy. But A-Chain, I think, is 9th round ADP over the past 6 weeks. So people are starting to get hyped, which is fine. And 9th round, I don't think it's too expensive. But if he creeps up into that 6th, 7th round, count me out. I'm not
too rich.
I ain't doing that this year. No, thank you.
No, but in 9th, 10th round, that's great value if you can get him down there.
Oh yeah. There's guys going around him that you make the choice between the two. You're not going to make the wrong one if you go with A-Chain. So little XFL stuff. So XFL sack leader Breland Speaks signed with the 49ers. Interestingly, that total of XFL players that have signed official contracts, not just workouts or anything like that, but signed official contracts in the NFL is up to 50. So the main thing that I wanted to ask you guys is, this is starting to look like this. This is starting to feel more like the NFL is kind of getting a minor league system, and it's unofficial and all that stuff. But this is the most that we've seen signed with NFL teams on official contracts from another league that was kind of like the minors. Pretty much since the inception of other leagues in the United States. So I'm excited for it. I think that number is gonna keep going up every single year, especially when you've got guys like Speaks who, I don't know why he was sitting there for so long right now, but the NFL as a whole has quite a few pass rushing talents, so I can understand why he might have gone later than some of these other guys like receivers and returners that have been scooped up by rosters. But that's big to me. I'm very excited about that and happy for it. And I think that it needs to be pointed out because I think we're starting to get a more minor league system with the XFL than anything else.
And that's exactly what the NFL wanted too. So.
Yeah, I think The Rock is not going to buy something that's going to be a losing money venture. I think the NFL probably helped them along with this and said, hey, listen, we need a minor league system. Why don't you buy it? We'll help you out with it. Become the minor league system, and they did a smart thing by hiring ex-players as coaches for a lot of the teams. So,
and the
a lot, and a lot of them are signing. We got one on our team, Bryce Thompson, from the University of Tennessee, had a nice season. And I believe he was in Seattle, wherever Seattle's team name is. I ain't even gonna front like I know him.
Sea Dragon.
There you
go.
See, I don't even know. But it's an XFL player. He plays corner. They're playing him at corner and safety. He very well could see the field this year, and he could, depending on injuries. I mean, we lost Jalen Ramsey already early in the season, but yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity for these players, man. So I'm happy for them. Anytime anytime these players can get an opportunity to be seen, whether it's in the minor league, XFL, and get an opportunity to play in the league, man, it's great for these players. So I'm happy for them, and I hope it continues. I hope it works out.
Yeah, we got John in the comments. Says he doesn't see the Jets wanting Cook. Abanikita. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I know it's Izzy. I gotta listen to the commentators, but I also can't trust them either. Can handle his style of running, and I agree. As I mentioned with my article that I'm working on, to me, he's one of the top handcuffs in the league. I think he's gonna do big things. I think he's far and away the better talent than Michael Carter is, and he's just. I think that's why you haven't seen Dalvin Cook sign with the Jets. He's going to want too much money. Why the hell pay him? Brees is likely healthy by week 1, and you've got behind Brees 2 capable running backs in Carter and Izzy that can really do some serious damage. So why spend the money? Use that Rodgers money that he restructured on other positions of need, like, I don't know, offensive line. Try and figure that out.
I feel you on that, but Jets fans don't act like Cook ain't better than most of these guys. So don't act like the Jets don't want Cook. They do want Cook. They just want him at their price. That's all it is. It's about money.
That's fair, but it's not needed, in my opinion.
Right. No, I get it. I mean,
and the thing with Cook is this. Is he really going to want to be 1/4 a piece of the Jets running back pie? And that's exactly what would happen. He's not getting the starting job wherever he signs now. He's just not getting it.
He could get it in Miami, I think.
Yeah,
I think he gets it in Miami. If he signs with Miami, he gets majority of the work.
Yes, let's not act like Dalvin Cook ain't a great. You know what I'm saying? Dalvin Cook goes to Miami, he'll be the number 1. If he goes to the Jets, he'll be the number 1 until Brees is ready to go. So I mean, he's still a really good player. Like I said, he just wants that money, and he doesn't want to touch the field during training. He ain't trying to be part of training camp. He's not trying to put any undue mileage on those legs. So I mean, he's chilling, holding out. He's keeping himself in great shape, working out. I mean, he's working out with the guys from the Dolphins down here. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I think the writing's on the wall. It's just a matter of the money, but he doesn't want to have any part of training camp. So he ain't in no rush to sign yet.
That's why I've said Miami all along. It's where he wants to be. It's the team that's likely going to pay him as close to what he wants as possible. He's not getting what he wants because I think initially I think he wants like 11 or some shit like that. Yeah, that's not happening. No chance in hell is he getting that. But he goes.
He's not even get. He wanted 8. He's not getting 8. He's not going to get 8 either. Unfortunately, the one thing that is also helping the Dolphins as well is, besides the fact that he wants to play there, he's from there, but the no state tax helps out a lot. So even if the offers are fairly equal, the no state tax is going to put it in Miami's favor as well on that one.
He's gonna sign a one year.
Man, dude,
I don't know. I don't see that happening. Mike Evans feels like he's gonna be a forever buck to me for some reason.
Yeah, Tampa came out and said early in the offseason that he's staying in Tampa. He's not going anywhere. They're not trading.
Unless he asks for out. I don't see them getting rid of him. Man.
I'd be asking out if Baker Mayfield was my quarterback.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I hear you on that.
My loyalties are gone once you put Baker behind center, but that's just me. Let's move on to the final topic here real quick. Ravens activated Rashad Bateman off the PUP list. Finally, Jesus, that dude's a walking PUP list. Dan wanted to know how well we expect Lamar Jackson to do this year now that he's got his full receiving core, full strength, and he does. There's, knock on wood, very few injuries to the Ravens this year, which is not a normal thing. I'm used to seeing very many injuries on that list by the time that the second week of preseason rolls around. Jackson's going to do fantastic. I have high expectations for him this year. That team has would you agree that team has the best chance out of Cleveland and Pittsburgh to overtake the division over Cincinnati?
No.
Really?
I like Cleveland a lot this year.
So do I.
really do.
Man,
I like Lamar Jackson. I really do.
I think Lamar's gonna have a great year.
I think he will have but I don't trust him when it comes down to is he gonna consistently hit the open guy. And again, he's a phenomenal athlete. I think he's gonna have a good season. But I think Deshaun is gonna come back. And I think Cleveland has an opportunity to bump off Cincinnati. I don't know that they will. We haven't done our AFC North one yet, so I'm not going to give it all away. But I think it is going to be a battle. Wait, we did do our AFC
first
North.
One with Bobby G. Bobby G was on.
So I got Cleveland. I got Cleveland in second place. In that one, I gave it to Cincinnati by a game, but Cleveland has all the pieces. If they can play any kind of defense, I think Deshaun is going to be as close to what he was before all the drama than he has been, and I think they're going to put up a lot of points in Cleveland. So it's going to be fun to see what happens.
My hot take on any show that they ask me is that Nick Chubb is going to lead the NFL in rushing. I think with Kareem Hunt gone now, Jerome Ford is hurt.
The man is the best in my opinion.
Training. Exactly. Right. In training camp, Jerome Ford is hurt now. And I think Jim Coventry on our show said it best, Johnny. Mm-hmm. If he gets past that first line of defense, watch out because he's gone every time. And so I don't think Deshaun has to throw it 35 times every game because I think Nick Chubb is going to be there in the backfield to help him. Cleveland's going to beat Cincinnati week 1. No doubt, my man. They're going to beat Cincinnati.
Watson's never really had one of those dominant running backs like Chubb in his years in Houston. So,
the play action works a lot better when you have a quarterback like Deshaun as opposed to Baker Mayfield, who we just talked about a few minutes ago.
Then you got Amari on the outside. You got Njoku as your tight end. John. You got people sleep on Donovan Peoples-Jones. He could have one of those tight ends.
And he's number 3 or number 4. You know what I'm saying? You still got Amari. You know what I'm saying? They just got Elijah. I love that pickup for them. David Njoku finally has a legit quarterback to throw to him, so I expect David Njoku to have a good season. And I still think Chubb is the top 2 or 3 running back in all of football. So
a player nobody's really talked about in Cleveland camp that's gotten a lot is they signed Akins, the tight end that used to be in Houston forever. The main tight end for Deshaun Watson for years and years. And that connection is still there. They've run 2 tight end sets because they're going to want to block for Chubb, and if he's got more outlets to throw to that are quick, those quick short dump offs to yak guys like Akins and Njoku, it's going to be successful. It really is. A lot of people compare Watson and Russell Wilson's downfall last year because they both kind of fell in the same time where they just looked nothing like you thought they were going to look like. But I don't think you have to worry about Watson as much as you got to worry about Wilson in terms of production on the field because he was legitimately readjusting. I just want to know if he can actually feed Amari Cooper because that's all I care about for fantasy. Because the set left, Cooper went down.
The other thing with the Ravens is they paid Odell Beckham a huge amount of money. What Beckham are we going to see this year?
But I feel like it was necessary because they were so thin at the time.
Definitely. No doubt. I agree with you 100%. But
they're overpaying him, but he was going to get overpaid no matter where he went.
No doubt.
Yeah, what the hell is that? JT deserves more money than OBJ at this point. What are we doing, people?
I agree. I agree on that one there.
John says that Russell looks done. I mean, I'm going to give him more than one preseason game.
Let's wait. Let's wait until week 2 or week 3 before we say he's done.
I just want to. He's got to get some time. If he gets time to throw and then he looks like dog shit again, he's done. But I got to give him more time than a half second.
No, I expect him to have a much better bounce back season this year. So I don't think he's done quite yet.
Don't forget, Sean Payton's a veteran coach. He's working on things in training camp, in preseason games.
Right.
It'll look a lot different when week 1 rolls around. So.
All right, gentlemen. That's going to wrap us up. Next week, no show, no off the rails show. We're going to do the live LTS fantasy draft.
Yeah.
You guys going to be here for that?
Absolutely.
I will be. Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
I would not miss Nick Bodkin sweating as he's picking.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's going to be a lot of fun, man. Definitely looking forward to that.
I've already got my book ready. I've got my notes ready and everything. I've got my tiers printed off. This is the time of year now where I'm doing full live drafts.
Yeah.
Feels like every week. So I'm very excited for that. I hope you guys decide to join us for that in the comments and stuff, because you want to talk about off the rails. That show's going to go off the rails in about 25 seconds. I'm going to do my best to keep the peace between everybody. My mute button will be heavily involved. I know that for a fact. But
better have the beeps ready for bodkins, because once people pick guys in front of them, we'll be like, what the?
That's going to be a must-watch show right there, man.
You want to talk about sweating? Alan Perales is going to be sweating this first pick. I think
he's going to take the whole time. He's going to take the whole time allotted to him and stuff, just like the NFL draft, when we already know who the first pick overall is going to be, but yet they drag out the whole 10 minutes. Because Alan wants to take a cowboy, but he's not just just to not get gigged on. He's going to take somebody.
I'm going to give it to him. I have Prescott so low in my rankings that everybody calls me out for it, but he agreed with me. He said that where I had him is about where he would put him for fantasy. Oh, yeah. So yeah, I'll give it to him. He threw his boy under the bus, and that's perfectly fine. All right, let's plug our shit and get out of here. Johnny, plug all the stuff you got going on. Then I'll go to Scott, and then I'll send us home.
Okay. All right. Well, tomorrow the Johnny Cruz show is back for another episode tomorrow, and I got the young man Bryce from CK News. Yep. is gonna be my guest there, so I get to chit chat with the young man, get to know him a little better. And then of course we have our LTS show Monday night 9 Eastern time, where we got Jim Berenger and Jonathan Grisham is back from Europe. So we'll get some details of what went on over there for his vacation. We'll talk some MLB, some wrestling, I'm sure, and some NHL. That's tomorrow night at 9, right after. So you could watch the Johnny Cruz show for your little appetizer. Then you have a nice big meal with the LTS show. Tuesday, I will be going on my little rant on Let's Talk Miami Dolphins about the Miami Dolphin fans' overreaction to a freaking preseason game. And I'll be there with my boy Alex, so we'll both be able to talk to the Dolphin fans and tell them to calm the hell down. So that's Tuesday. And then Thursday, I'll be with Scott for his show on Thursday. Then, of course, LTS show Thursday night. And then, like you said, next week is the draft show next Sunday at 5 o'clock. We're doing it, right? Next Sunday?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So definitely
details to iron out with Dan still, but
okay. But definitely subscribe, hit that like button, and you definitely want to turn on your notifications whenever anybody is going live, because there is a lot of stuff coming up, people. A lot of good stuff coming.
NFL season is always the busiest at LTS. We got the best.
Absolutely.
Johnny, are you an LA Night guy for wrestling?
Not so much, not as much as Sam is. But I am a fan of Sam, so I will support Sam and his boy LA Knight. Yeah.
Let me talk to you.
Go ahead, Scott.
So we got the LTS show tomorrow night. Tuesday is the baseball show with Alan and John and returning Jonathan Grisham. Wednesdays is the morning newsletter. Thursday, the Scott Cove show will return with superstar commenter in the LTS show, Ed in Columbus. So me and Johnny will not have to talk much.
I cannot wait for that one. That's why I didn't want to say that. I wanted to let you promote it, but I cannot wait for that. Scott,
is that his first appearance?
Yes,
that is. I don't think he makes many appearances on shows, so I believe he hasn't been on your show, Johnny, has he?
No, I haven't had a chance to have him yet. No.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, so
this is the first time. This is the first time that I'll be. I mean, I think he might have been on the draft with us. Did he come on? No, he was just commenting. He was just commenting. So this is the first time that we'll have him on the show.
So Dan shot me a DM last week and said, "Hey, I got Ed in Columbus lined up. Do you want him?" I said, "Oh yeah, we'll take him.
Give him to me.
Come on." Yeah. And then let's talk bets with Ryan's brother Matt on Friday nights, which is a good hour. We're starting to transition now into football a little bit more. Matt's getting very tired of the baseball odds, so he was not happy Friday night when he saw the baseball odds. So
yeah,
on Sunday next week. So
he's ready. Matt's a big college football guy. He's ready for college football, like you wouldn't believe. So
and what are we 2 weeks away? 2 weeks away from
August 26th, I think, is the opening weekend of college, rather. So
2 weeks, baby.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thursday, I will not have the fantasy show. Dan and I are trying to figure out for the Fantasy University. That was the original day. I misplaced my days that I'm coming back from the beach. I thought I was coming back Wednesday. We are coming back Thursday, so that's my fault. Friday, I know I'm going to be.
He just doesn't want us to know what he's thinking for the draft.
That's
so
right.
He's not going to have a show before the draft.
That's why you delayed.
That's pretty slick, Ryan.
This is what I don't understand. It's funny you say that because my home league is hitting its 10th year this year, right? And no one in that home league, other than my dad and Matt, really pay attention to my stuff because they don't want to. Why not study what my rankings are so that way you can just snipe all my guys, man? What is wrong with you people? I don't understand. Like, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
No, Ryan likes Devontae Smith, second round, first pick. Devontae Smith.
He's laid it all out for you people. So definitely check out the Ryan shows because if you want any type of fantasy success this year, you need to be paying attention to Ryan.
I will say this before Ryan keeps going. Watch the draft next Sunday. It's gonna be. It's really.
It's gonna be hilarious.
It's gonna be nothing like the draft. So
you want to see people get flustered and
right.
It's gonna be the entirety of the show. So yeah, that'll be happening. Article wise, I haven't come out with a lot lately. Like Johnny, I've been moving. You can see all the drywall behind me that I've tried to kind of screen off, but it doesn't really work. So that. My next article that's coming out is my backup running back handcuff guide. It's probably going to be within the next week or so. That's one of my biggest ones of the year in terms of length and research that goes into it. So be sure to check that out. Once I have that out, go to @FTP. You'll find all my stuff that I post there. But I will definitely be here next Sunday to do the draft show, which I am super, super excited about. But other than that, guys, I want to thank both of you guys for joining us and, picking up the slack for Tanner and Mr. Bodkins.
Yeah, they're commenting in the comments, but they can't. What the hell is going on?
One, Bodkins said he's driving. Shame on you for messaging and driving at the same time. You son of a bitch. And Tanner, I'm assuming Tanner's working most likely. The dude, all he does is work and coach.
He's always doing something.
Can't shit on him. So.
Yeah.
But all right, gentlemen, thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.